A lot of interesting things are happening around the same time at the moment, and either I've gone completely off the deep end like that one guy from the meme, or something is about to be announced. And speaking of announcements, here's a quick word from today's sponsor, Factor 75. Factor 75 offers ready-made meals with a difference, combining the convenience of something you can have ready in no time at all, whilst not compromising on quality. Order in a day, a week, or a month's worth of food in one go, and then just wait for it to arrive. Factor 75 offers keto, low-calorie, vegan, vegetarian options, and more. All you need is somewhere to heat it up and the time written on the box. No guesswork on what you need in, no time wasted shopping, preparing and cleaning up, more time for what you love doing instead. Factor 75 delivers food fast, which is prepared by real chefs who know how to deliver delicious, no-nonsense food that can be ready in around 2 minutes. Not only are Factor 75 meals full of nutritious and good things, but it's also good for your wallet. And planning ahead will mean there's always something healthy to grab, meaning less reliance on takeouts. Use my link or go to factor75.com and use code POGWILLE60 for 60% off your first box. Many thanks to Factor 75 for the sponsor today. Let's talk WoW. Season of Mastery is soon enough coming to an end, having begun on November 16th, 2021, with transfers off currently being available. By the way, if you have a character on Season of Mastery, you should go take a minute to transfer it off, or they're going to be deleted. It is free, after all. The forum and Reddit posts lamenting in their nostalgia have started to make a more noticeable reappearance, and there's more of them than I can recall seeing at any point in time in the past. Certainly wasn't anything like this around the time when TBC dropped. Even classic era servers have started seeing a small repopulation. Looking way earlier in the year, there would be like 12 or so items on the auction house on the supposed big servers. Now there's several thousand. There's people out in the world leveling. There's level 60s logging in looking for things to do. It's not huge, don't get me wrong, compared to Wrath that is, and the era servers will always remain niche due to things such as being fully progressed, no new content, on equal footing for returning players, and so on. But if an environment like that is getting some interest, I think that means something. To top it off, recently we've had a good old reliable leak pop up, claiming, amongst other things, Ulduar is in early January, but more relevant to this video, Season of Mastery Season 2 on November 17th. Now there are one or two problems with this, such as the spelling mistakes on Frez. Season of Mastery Season 2 just being called Season 2, I always assumed they would go with Season of, insert a new word here. And perhaps biggest of all, as of doing this video, we are about a week out with no announcement, no PTR, and no news whatsoever to build up hype. Saying that, imagine if they just went and changed a bunch of stuff about Classic, that it's dropping on this date, and no player had tried it till launch. Tell me that wouldn't be hype. Maybe Classic would benefit from no PTR, and if it's buggy, yeah, we can call them features, I suppose, the real Classic experience. On top of that, Dragonflight releases on the 28th of November, though to be honest, I don't know how much crossover there really is between a person wanting to try a second seasonal server of Classic and the new retail expansion. They're two very different things at this point in time. And whether anything will happen at all though, it's important that something does sooner or later for Blizzard and the player base, because at some point with us advancing through expansions, Classic will stop being, well, Classic. A lot of people are here for more than some nostalgia. I don't know about you, but in my experience, you aren't consistently nostalgic whilst engaging with said thing that made you feel that for several years in a row. I think that's more in the, hey, this thing is actually pretty good territory. And I think at this point we can say Classic has proven far more than just some nostalgia. If that's all it was, the player base would have disappeared a few months after launch. What I'm saying is a lot of people don't like the direction that the retail version of the game went, and we're in Wrath at the moment, which for me already has tons of huge changes, more so than people really attribute to it. Leveling is incredibly easy, you get flooded with loot, multiple raid difficulties, and so on. Soon after Wrath is Kata and the Mists of Pandaria, and who knows, maybe even Warlords of Draenor. For what it's worth, I can see them doing Kata, possibly even Mop, but by then, it really is a different game, isn't it? The Sundering has hit, reworked itemization, leveling taking a backseat to endgame content, and so much more. At which point, if you did want to play a classic version of the game, would you be on Mr. Pandaria, or would you want to see what's happening on, well, classic, as in the very early versions of the game instead? Because for me, so far, the only game like classic has actually been the OG version, vanilla. Don't get me wrong, there's things I like about each of the 3 versions of World of Warcraft we have gone through so far, but classic had by far the best world. Outland and Northrend in comparison are small, and I know it's such a stereotype, but the journey, going from a clueless nub in Northshire Abbey to a fully fledged level 60 adventurer starting on endgame content. Things like the moment when you learn your mount to level 40, learning that big new ability such as Whirlwind, the class quest, the zone hopping for the questing, all of these things were great in my opinion and really built up the world to be something memorable. In TBC, I think building on achievements was a good addition, though I'd have been fine if there was some kind of account-wide key or something of the likes when exalted with various reputations, just so you could do them on alts a little bit easier. And Wrath of the Lich King for me absolutely clears the other 2 on moment-to-moment gameplay. Hybrids are more than just viable, mana bars aren't a restriction to gameplay, and there's more to every single class than a single button. I could certainly see myself trying Classic again, but another full year of pressing Curse of Recklessness on a mob, the warriors running and delete in 4 seconds, and me being unable to reach hit cap on my 1-button rotation till over halfway through the expansion. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm too sold on that actually. Another year of casually leveling the odd character in the open world, perhaps with some new things to discover, that maybe could work a little bit better. And please, I hope we don't get the Wrath talents in vanilla. These trees are designed around having 71 points to spend. 51 points would be just as, if not even more restrictive than the Kata trees, as practically every class will have to go all the way down the tree to get their final ability. But that is just me, and they're not making the game for just me, they're making it for a player base they think will want to play it day in, day out. Remember, Season of Mastery 1 came out on November 16th, 2021, a few months after TBC drop, and back then it didn't feel like long enough had gone by, but with a whole expansion between Classic and Wrath, I think for many, things are starting to feel a little bit different now. I've said it before and I'll say it again, if they do more seasonals, or when perhaps it's either a no changes release, fan servers have shown time and again there will be an audience for this, or just go all out with changes, much more so than was the case in Season of Mastery, because at the end of the day, it's seasonal. There's an expiry date on the server. It's not going to be the be-all end-all for Classic forever, and if you log in or read the changes and think, wow, I don't like this, you just don't have to play it because the next season might fit you a little bit better. But I think clearly there's a ton of interest and players wanting to be given a solid enough reason to go and try Classic again. With Error slowly growing, people beginning to reminisce on Classic, we just need that little push to get excited about it again. And for me, hopefully something bigger and better than just the word fresh thrown about. All in all, I hope that time and effort is put into a good Season of Mastery 2, or whatever they call it at the beginning. I am really liking the content in Wrath at the moment, but the longer we go on with current expansions, the closer to retail we get, and the closer to changes which turn many people away from the game in the first place we get. The whole point of Classic and the seasonal servers is to offer a different experience and protect the design pillars Blizzard have described some time ago around the world being important, protecting social engagements and so on. It's already been 3 years since Classic dropped back in 2019, and picture this, in another 3, at this rate, we'll probably be doing dailies on the Isle of Thunder. Classic and seasonal servers may all be in the past, but I think they're also going to be an important part of this game's future. That's everything today. Let me know your thoughts on it all, whether you're looking forward to a Season 2 or whether that is all in the past for the time being. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one very soon.